does not exist today. Now, a lot of you are doing many different things, and so I don't want to suggest that this is the end-all be-all. This is simply one way, but clearly as I look at the technology hurdles that we sit today, many people are using things like Gmail, they're using things like Hotmail, they're using things like GoDaddy, they're using things like Callfire, they're using things like Excel spreadsheets, etc., etc., etc. And the problem with that is that these technologies are not integrated in any form or fashion. In fact, these technologies typically have to be outputted in CSV files to be input to the next technology. And thereby, this monolithic approach to a single data set, which is based on voter content, is a much more efficient way in which to distribute information across the conservative movement. The liberals have been doing this for quite a while. They're very effective at it already, and they're very efficient because they've typically raised a lot of money from those groups that are very interested in making sure that you move, if you will, the great, undeniable liberal base that will ultimately choose to take decisions that they're interested in. The conservative movement, regrettably, I believe, to some degree, has seen itself less as about being able to be moved in mass because it holds on to this notion so very clearly that to be truly grassroots, you have to be truly independent. Now, I don't discount that. In fact, that is precisely the model that I'm embracing. But one can act local by providing a global capability, and that global capability can be shared across organizational structure, in this case, the various Tea Party, 9/12, and other activist groups, to essentially influence elections. And once those elections are either influenced or unsuccessfully so, we can go back and assess what learning took place. Today, I would argue that if you go to your Republican Party or your Democrat Party and you try to find that information out, you try to discover, for instance, what took place, what went well, what went poorly, you're going to find very little information. I set an appointment with our Shelby County Republican chairman, spent a lot of time with him on the phone. The answers I typically get are, well, it's the candidate's responsibility, or we don't have any money, or you've got to go to the county voter elections board to get that information. So I asked the question, well, where is the value of the chairman and the Republican Party in this community for conservative voters? Well, we print signs, we get out votes, and we try to vet various candidates, and we spend a little bit of money on promoting the general welfare of the party. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would suggest to you that the general welfare of the party is not what we're about. What we are about is the general welfare of America, the constitutional basis of our decisions, and ultimately to ensure that the people who are representing us are not the elitists who tell us what to do, but indeed reflect our values. And in this sense, this notion of localism I spoke about, in concert with the ability to manage data, manage the multi-election cycle content, is going to be critical. Now, we're doing this here today locally. This is not sort of a hypothetical idea. In fact, if you look at how elections are won, and managed post-election cycle, the information related to those voters is so well secured by the winner that they're not about to share it with a nondescript conservative movement or patriot who wishes to understand how they won that election. Indeed, we are going to have to build our own content using that which is already provided by the states and be able to distribute that to all these local organizations that ultimately will be able to provide a level of localized capability, volunteerism, and ultimately even raising money to help support those efforts that we want to undertake in the election cycle. Ultimately, there's nothing magical about this. There really isn't anything magical about elections because they're hard fought. But one of the things I would offer in terms of looking at the context for the go-forward strategy here, and certainly one of the things we're doing here in Tennessee, as we went through the election cycle with our gubernatorial candidates, we had three primary candidates, three good conservatives. Indeed, the heavily right conservative vote was spread across two of those candidates, and what I'll call the moderate conservative vote, and some conservatives were through the machine candidate, Bill Haslam. Indeed, if we would have had two candidates, it may have been a very different outcome. But what was interesting was not that we won or lost, the person that we supported didn't win. What was interesting is the consternation, the frustration that came out afterward. I was privy to emails and commentary that frankly I found somewhat disappointing. I found people who were angered, who began claiming that somehow the other gubernatorial candidate didn't won. Bill Haslam is somehow a socialist, a new world governor, calling him all sorts of names, that we didn't get the vote out, we weren't successful, we don't know what we're doing. There was almost escape from the jaws of victory approach. And I dare say that any one of your organizations, any one of you as leaders who have been involved in an election, who have not won that election, perhaps had some of that happen within the various people that you've been associated. But what I try to do is encourage people in as much as saying, look, we have only begun to get involved at the grassroots level in a tangible way over the past couple of years. Indeed, I would suggest to you that most of the time, too many people were sitting on a couch watching Dancing with Stars when the liberals were out doing community organizing. Right now, if we're going to be successful to take back our country, to ensure that we have a constitutionally grounded federal government, state and local government, we are going to have to ultimately be aware of a lot more than just an elected candidate. You probably heard that in the West Coast, another person who is earning $1 million a year, who is double dipping on the basis of their salaries and their pension benefits for a job in the city, is running rampant. There were not only one, but there were half a dozen. In my own hometown of Cleveland, Ohio, a school teacher who works with Parma, Ohio, ultimately is making $250,000 a year with her pension, and she said she earned it. Ladies and gentlemen, our issues in the going forward basis are more about than just electing people. It is about ultimately holding our government accountable, ourselves accountable, being involved in issues, candidates, and ultimately making a difference in the context of being able to change what government is doing. Technology is part of that. The ability to associate technology to this new conservative movement, to this new patriot movement, in the sense of the volunteerism that's so obvious, is critical to our success. And I appreciate the opportunity to share those views with you today. Thank you.